In this video, we're going to do the KutaSoftware free worksheet under Infinite Algebra 1, multiplying and dividing positive and negatives. On the site, I believe it's under multiplying and dividing rational numbers. In this video, we're going to do all the division. So under find the quotient, we're going to do numbers 1 through 20. And then in the next video, we'll do find each product, and that'll be numbers 21 through 36. So for dividing positive and negative numbers, we have 4 different possibilities. So here are our 4 possibilities. We can have a positive over a positive number, so positive divided by a positive. We can have a negative divided by a negative, and then we can have a negative divided by a positive, or a positive divided by a negative. In our first example, a positive divided by a positive number will also result in a positive number. A negative divided by a negative number will result in a positive number. You can think of this almost as the negatives canceling each other out. For a negative divided by a positive, that is going to result in a negative number. And a positive divided by a negative will also result in a negative number. So think that whenever the signs are the same when you're dividing, so if you have a positive divided by a positive or a negative divided by a negative, that's going to result in a positive answer. If you have a negative divided by a positive or a positive divided by a negative, that's going to result in a negative answer. So let's go ahead and do number 1. In number 1, we have a positive divided by a positive. So 10 divided by 5 is going to be a positive 2. Because 10 divided by 5 is 2. For number 2, we have a negative divided by a positive. A negative divided by a positive, we know, results in a negative. 24 divided by 12 is going to give us 2. So for number 2, we have a negative 2. For number 3, we have a negative divided by a negative. That is going to result in a positive. That was the second option we went over. So negative 20 divided by negative 2 is going to be a positive. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So negative 20 divided by negative 2 is a positive 10. Let's go on to number 4. We have a negative divided by a negative, so we know that's going to result in a positive. We can simplify this before we do the actual division. If we divide both the numerator by 10 and the denominator by 10, we're going to get negative 30 over a negative 2. So the zeros we can simply cross off since we had divided by the negative 10. So we have negative 30 divided by negative 2, which will result in a positive 15. For number 5, positive divided by positive results in a positive. 65 divided by 5 is 13. For number 6, we have a negative divided by a negative, so that's going to be a positive. Negative 66 divided by negative 6 is going to be a positive 11. Number 7, we have a positive divided by a negative, so our answer is going to be negative. 75 divided by 15 is 5. So 75 divided by negative 15 is a negative 5. Number 8, we have negative 56 divided by negative 14. That's going to result in a positive number. 14 goes into 56 4 times. So negative 56 divided by a negative 14 is a positive 4. For number 9, we have 102 divided by negative 17. Our resulting answer is going to be negative since we have a positive divided by a negative. 102 divided by 17 is going to be 6. So 102 divided by negative 17 is a negative 6. Number 10, negative 72 divided by negative 4. Negative divided by a negative is going to give us a positive. So this is going to be a positive 18. Now in number 11, they've only switched up the format. Instead of using a division bar, they're using the division sign. But this is the same as 153 divided by 17. That fraction bar, remember, represents division. So 153 is positive, 17 is positive, and a positive divided by a positive is also a positive. So when we divide 153 by 17, we're going to get a positive 9. Here we have a positive 12 divided by a negative 3. A positive divided by a negative is going to result in a negative. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so 12 divided by negative 3 is a negative 4. 13, we have a positive divided by a positive. 48 divided by a positive 6 is going to result in a positive 8. 8 times 6 equals 48. Number 14, we have a negative 120 divided by a negative 20. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 120 divided by 20, both that numerator and denominator, we would be able to remove a 0 from the ones place. So that would be negative 12 divided by negative 2, which is a positive 6. Number 15, we have a positive divided by a positive. Let's go ahead and do long division. 18 does not go into 3, but 18 goes into 30 one time. Then we're going to subtract 18 from that 30 to get 12. Now we simply bring down this 6. 18 fits into 126. So the answer for number 15, 308 divided by 18, is a positive 17. 16, we have a negative divided by a positive. That's going to result in a negative. 13 goes into 65 5 times. So the answer is negative 5. And now on to our last 4 problems. For 17, we have a negative divided by a negative, which is a positive. So 85 divided by 17 is 5. So negative divided by a negative is positive. 85 divided by 17 is a positive 5. Number 18, we have a positive divided by a negative. So our resulting answer is going to be negative. 128 divided by 16 is 8. So our answer is a negative 8. 19, we have a negative divided by a positive. So again, our answer is going to be negative. 15 goes into 180 12 times. So negative 180 divided by 15. If you want to see that in a long division, I'll go ahead and type 180 divided by 15. 15 goes into 1 0 times. 15 goes into 18 once. So that's 15. 18 minus 15 is going to be 3. Bring down the 0. 15 goes into 30 twice. Now lastly, we have number 20. For number 20, we have 234 divided by negative 13. A positive divided by a negative results in a negative. 13 goes into 234 18 times. So the answer to number 20, 234 divided by negative 13 equals negative 18. And with that answer, we will conclude this video. In the next video, please join me for doing numbers 21 through 36, where we're going to be multiplying negative and positive numbers. Don't forget to like this video and go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have any requests for worksheets you want me to do, or any problems that you're still confused on, go ahead and comment below. In this video, we'll finish up the KutaSoftware worksheet, multiplying and dividing rational numbers. And I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description below. In the following problems, we're going to find each product. Number 21 says negative 11 times 9. Now, just like division, we're going to have 4 different options. A positive times a positive, our first option, will result in a positive. A negative times a negative will also result in a positive. A positive times a negative will result in a negative, and a negative times a positive will result in a negative. So for 21, we have a negative 11 times a positive 9. The signs are different, therefore we're going to have a negative answer. 11 times 9 is 99. So the answer to number 21 is going to be negative 99. Number 22, we have a negative times a negative. Negative times a negative, looking at our chart, results in a positive. Think same sign, positive. So negative 7 times negative 12 is going to be a positive 84. Number 23, we have another negative times a negative, so the resulting answer is going to be positive. 8 times 11 is going to be a positive 88. For 24, we have a negative times a positive. Looking at our chart, negative times a positive results in a negative. Negative 6 times positive 4 is going to be a negative. 6 times 4 is 24. So 24, the answer is negative 24. Number 25, negative times negative is a positive. 3 times 11 is 33. So negative 3 times negative 11 is positive 33. For number 26, again, we have a negative times a negative. We know that's going to be positive. So 5 times 9 is 45. Negative 5 times negative 9 is also 45. For 27, we have a positive times a negative. That's going to result in a negative. The signs are not the same. So 9 times 7 is 63, but that's a negative 63 since it's 9 times negative 7. In number 28, negative times negative is a positive. Negative 9 times negative 3 is a positive 27. 29, we have a positive times a negative. So our resulting answer is going to be negative. And 12 times 12 is 144. So 12 times negative 12 is negative 144. Number 30, we have a positive times a negative. 11 times negative 6 is going to be negative 66. Number 31 actually introduces another number. So as opposed to just multiplying two numbers together, we're now multiplying 3. A positive times a negative results in a negative. And we're left with multiplying that negative number by a positive. And a negative times a positive will give us a negative. So a positive times a negative times a positive results in a negative. Let's go ahead and do out the math. 6 times negative 5, positive times a negative, we know is a negative. 6 times 5 is 30. So 6 times negative 5 is a negative 30. And we're left with times 3. A negative times a positive is a negative. So negative 30 times positive 3 is going to give us a negative 90. So our answer to number 31 is negative 90. For 32, we have a positive times a negative, which will result in a negative, and then that's multiplied to a positive. So negative times a positive will result in a negative. Doing the math, 6 times negative 1 is going to give us a negative 6. And we're left with the times 2. Negative 6 times 2 will give us a negative 12. So for number 32, we get negative 12. In number 33, we have a positive, a negative, and a negative. 8 times negative 6 results in a negative number. and we're left with a negative times a negative. A negative times a negative will be positive. So we know our final answer is going to be positive. Now 8 times negative 6 is going to be a negative 48, and that's going to be multiplied by a negative 3. Negative times a negative is a positive. 48 times 3 is going to give us 144. I'll go ahead and do that out longhand. 48 times 3, 8 times 3 is 24, carry the 2, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. 144. Number 34, negative times a positive, which results in a negative, times a negative, so our final answer will be positive. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Negative 18 times a negative 6 is going to be positive. 18 times 6 is 108. And I'll do this longhand one more time. 18 times 6. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 4 is 108. And if you need to, feel free to double check your answers with a calculator. Number 35, we have 3 times negative 1 times 3. They wrote this a little differently from the previous problems because as opposed to using the multiplication sign, they just put brackets around all of their terms. So multiplication happens between each of those terms. So 3 times 3 is going to be a positive 9, since both are positive, and then we're going to be left with times negative 1 times 3. And I'll put the parentheses around the 9 as well. 9 times a negative 1 is going to result in a negative 9, since we're multiplying a positive by a negative. And then we still have to multiply by that positive 3. Negative 9 times a positive 3 is going to be a negative 27. And moving on to our last problem, number 36. 36, we have a negative times a positive times a negative times a negative. If we multiply negative 3 times 3, we're going to get a negative 9. Because the order doesn't matter for multiplication, we can also go ahead and multiply negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times a negative is going to give us a positive. 3 times 3 is 9, so negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. So now we're left with negative 9 times a positive 9. Negative times a positive is a negative. 9 times 9 is 81, so negative 9 times 9 is negative 81. And this completes the multiplying and dividing rational numbers KutaSoftware free worksheet in Infinite Algebra 1. Go ahead, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. And if you need a more in-depth explanation of multiplying and dividing negative and positive numbers together, go look through my video tutorials on my website or on YouTube.